Hi, I'm Mike Crabb.
And I'm Laurie Schultz. Welcome to the show.
We'll have some caffeinated conversation.
And maybe some special guests along the way.
Who knows where the conversation will go? You're out for coffee with Mike and Laurie. Hello, friends, and welcome to a brand spanking new episode of Out for Coffee.
With Mike and Laurie. And Rob.
Boy, you guys do such a great job of that,
Thanks, Rob.
Finally.
Wow.
That's why they pay us the big bucks.
Well, apparently that's right.
It's the magic of the Out for Coffee mug. It happens.
It just happens, eh? It's amazing. It's amazing.
Laurie's got her office mug today.
Mm-hmm. I see that.
A little Dwight Schrute couldn't hurt anyone.
Oh, there's a picture of Dwight. Oh my gosh.
Hey, I'm gonna ask you guys, just shh, be quiet for a little second.
What?
Listen. Oh, she stopped breathing.
Oh my God, it's not me.
My dog had surgery and she is zonked.
Oh yes, yeah.
And she is snoring up a storm. So you might hear her throughout today's episode.
Hey,
oh my.
That's
but
the
otherwise the dog's doing all right though, fine.
Oh, actually, to be honest, she had a bit of a rough go at the start. It was a lot of challenges, but the last few days she has certainly leveled out a lot. She is doing better the past few, but it was a tough first 2 weeks. Yeah.
Well, Mike, we get to hear Meatloaf on the regular, so a little bit of prudence here and there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to include Meaty at this point. He's gonna have to have a credit in each episode.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you right now, we are not getting a dog.
Not something that's going to happen in the McLaughlin household.
I can look up some dog noises or something on YouTube if you really think that I'm missing the mark here.
If you're not contributing,
right? Exactly.
To the excess noise.
But there's not going to be any dog around here anytime soon.
I can lend you the pickle.
No, we don't want that. We don't want that either. No, we've been there, done that.
Oh.
It's getting a little past it.
Oh, okay, bite me. I mean, no, okay.
Okay. Wow. On that note,
feisty. It's almost the end of the year. It's almost the end of the school year.
Yes, it is.
The school is
hot.
School year. The school is hot as Satan's butt crack right now.
And we're not talking.
And that's pretty warm.
We're not talking about like it's good hot, right?
No,
we're talking about it's temperature, steamy, clammy kind of.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah.
And nothing says summer like the smell of 100 teenagers in a hot school corridor.
100?
Oh, you got more than 100 though, didn't you?
We've got like 600 kids.
600 kids. Okay, 6 times the smell right there. Of 100 kids on a hot school day. Yeah. Because at your school, which I won't name by name,
everybody knows where I go.
There you are. But you have no air conditioning, correct?
We do not.
Yes.
Have air conditioning.
No, I get that. Anyway. I'm terribly spoiled, and it's I'm sure it's just an old age thing for me, but I love my air conditioning. I mean, I enjoy sitting out. I sit out on the deck, behind the house. You guys have been here on our deck, and it's a great place to sit, and I love being out there when it's comfortable.
Yeah. But
when it is not, I am inside where the air conditioning. I don't care if it's going 100 miles an hour.
Oh yeah.
That fan outside back there could be spinning to beat the band. I do not care. I just love my air conditioning.
I've got mine set at like 68 degrees if you're a Fahrenheit person.
Okay, 68.
68 all year long, baby, because mama's hot.
Oh, yeah.
So I got Prudence. Laurie's got Meaty, and your man's best friend is your air conditioning, is what I'm hearing.
That's absolutely right. Yes, man's best friend is the air conditioner.
It's going to be a long day when you're going out to your car to go to work, and the back of your knees are sweating already. That's a rough day.
Oh my gosh!
Just be careful how cold you set it, Rob.
Anyway, I don't want it to ice up or get too freezing.
You don't want it to. You don't want to get too cold.
Why?
I was in the pool.
Oh, geez.
Oh, God, Laurie.
It's not going to be that cold.
Well, I don't know. My house is 68 degrees. I don't know.
Whatever. Okay, let's change
Keep it
the
rolling here.
subject here. So last time you guys were together, I don't know where I was. I was out of the country or
I
something.
don't know where you were either, Rob. You were
No, I
playing
don't
hooky.
know where I was.
Rogue.
Anyway, I missed the
Alive.
I missed the update from Mike's trip. And I know we were kind of thinking about talking about traveling and whatnot, and I mean, I know you spent a whole show probably talking about your trip, Mike, but I'm interested to hear the 90-second Cole's Notes version recap. Yeah.
Here's what you need to know. Had an amazing time. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Kevin did such an incredible job of planning it all to a T.
Oh, excellent.
To which I thought it was actually going to be a problem from the get-go because it was so firm. Like there was so much stuff packed in. I'm like, there's no wiggle room. Like we're going to see something we want to see. And it's, so I didn't know how much flexibility it was going to be in it. And we started off the holiday sitting on the airplane 4 hours. We boarded at 10 o'clock, right? So it's 2 a.m. and they tell us, you know what, we're not going.
I did remember hearing that detail.
So we disboarded. Then we all scrambled for hotels and stuff. So we finally got into our hotel at 4 a.m. for a 7 p.m. departure the next evening. So that first day threw us a little bit. But I was like, there's the problem that like we dealt with the baloney of this, right? So the rest of the trip is going to go without a hitch. And it absolutely did. It was like seamless. It was perfect.
Excellent.
London, I loved it. It felt like a fancy Toronto. Like I felt like it was fairly easy to find your way around for the most part. And I was amazed at how close a lot of the landmarks are. It was really easy to go and see lots of things in a short amount of time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a very, very compact place. I mean, yeah, so you're right. Everything is like right around the corner from the next thing, kind of thing.
And then we went to Paris, which I felt was the opposite. It's very spread out. So nothing was as easy to get to. Had a great time. The food there was my favorite. Kevin's as well. They had delicious food in Paris. Made our way over to Amsterdam, where it was by far our favorite. We loved Amsterdam.
Yeah, it is quite a place.
Yeah. And so Kevin had a 25-kilometer bike ride set up for the final day. And I thought, I'm going to be exhausted by then. That's a long bike ride. But Holland's very flat.
Yeah.
The bikes, I was used to like Toronto rental bikes, which weigh 1 million pounds half the time.
Okay.
The bikes there, they were nice and light. It was the easiest bike ride we have ever gone on.
Very good. Very
beautiful countryside bike ride in Amsterdam. That was wonderful. The people there were super friendly. If you wanted to, have some exciting nightlife and go out and have a drink and stuff, you go a couple canals this way. It's a party. Yeah. You want quaint, quiet, picturesque evening, go a couple canals that way. It had best of all the worlds. So we very much look forward to going back to there.
Excellent.
Yeah. On our first night in Amsterdam, though, so we're really like zonked out because we're doing overall the entire holiday. We ended up walking over 230 kilometers. So we were pretty wiped each morning. Ouch. I know. And that's not including the bike ride. So we were quite tired every morning. And in the middle of the night on the first evening in Amsterdam, we had I was startled awake. The fire alarm was going off at like 2 a.m. And it's one of those like panic ones. You wake up and you're disoriented. You have no idea where you are and you think something's going down and oh my God, we're going to die. So I'm panicking, trying to get my bearings. Kevin is sound asleep through this screeching fire alarm. I can't get him up. Finally, he wakes up and then he's in panic mode because he doesn't know what's going on and he's all disoriented. But it was that was quite the experience for our first evening in Amsterdam.
Wow. Sounds fun.
Wow. I must say, we said we're going to talk about hotels, so I'll interject this here because it kind of ties in. I was in a hotel once and the fire alarm went off 3 times. 3 times, like maybe an hour and a half apart each time.
Just enough for you to fall back asleep and get cozy.
Just enough that by the 3rd time you were going, forget it.
I'll burn.
I'm not getting up. I'm not getting up.
I've had a good run.
Yeah, 3 times one night. And yeah, it was when I was on the road for work.
Oh.
Terrible.
No, thank you.
But
Yeah.
oh yeah. It can
Well,
be,
and then so we're
but
like,
it can be jarring, very, very jarring.
Yeah.
When that the alarm goes off in a hotel, because you say there's that sometimes brief moment, sometimes not so brief, where you're just totally disoriented because you're woken right up out of a sound sleep, and it can freak you out for that split second of where am I, what am I doing?
You're
and
not
then
in your bed.
All of a sudden, that's it. Everything around about you is strange.
You're certain you were kidnapped. There's a moment where you're like, okay, I've been kidnapped.
Yeah.
Man.
But so yeah, there are moments of, that's one of the joys of traveling and staying in hotels.
Nice memory making.
You just never know
what you're doing.
Stay home. Okay, this from the gal who has traveled many feet from home.
Yeah. Quiet you.
Another time I had an alarm go off. Kevin and I, we were at a party in Niagara Falls. We were spending the night, and we stayed up late, and we were at a TGIF's for like a really late night dessert. It was probably 3 a.m, 4 a.m.
Okay. That's breakfast at that point.
And while we're in the TGIF, it starts going off like it was like a weird alarm too. So we didn't know if it was a fire alarm at first. And then suddenly the whole TGIF got flooded because it was raining outside and all the people had to evacuate the hotel. And it was a high rise right near the top of the falls. And everyone came down and just flooded the TGIF. So we're sitting there now. It was quiet. It was beautiful. It was, and then suddenly there's like a million people all up in our, so we ate our funnel cake and got out of there as quickly as we could. Have you, Laurie, I know you have had some interesting hotel/motel experiences, correct?
Yeah. The only thing really that's jumping out at me is a few years ago, girls' trip to Ontario's West Coast. Up the up the way, Goderich, Bayfield, up that way.
I love that way.
Yeah, it's beautiful up there. So we decided to have a 2-night stay. It was my mom, our friend Sloan, and myself. We decided to have a 2-night stay at a motel on the Highway 21. Had great reviews. Lots of people said, oh yeah, it's a great place, stay there. Not so much.
Oh no.
Actually. So we booked for 2 nights. We each had our own room. We had to guarantee that it was a non-smoking place because with the asthma, like my mom's very sensitive as well.
Right.
And with my asthma, I can't be in a place where there's cigarettes. I just can't.
No.
And
we know this.
Yes, you know this. I don't have anything to dump on my keyboard in a frenzy today about it. But so okay, we had that guarantee, and it was going to be a beautiful place. There's a restaurant right inside. Look, it's not a hotel, it's a motel, but it's supposed to be a little classier than your
a little upper
Motel
scale.
6. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a Motel 6 or anything.
It's a Motel 8. Right?
It's a Super 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super 8.
So we get there, and my mom and I got there first, and they said, okay, well, might as well check you into the rooms. And first thing, I walked into the room, cigarette smoke.
Oh,
no. You've got to be friggin' kidding me at this point.
Oh, boy.
So went into Mom's room, also cigarette smoke. Went into Sloane's room, not as bad as cigarette smoke, but still it's there. And it had that kind of musty cabin
stale
kind of smell too.
Oh, boy.
But so we went right to the desk, and we're like, problem. This is a non-smoking place, and 2 out of 3 rooms reek of cigarette smoke. Well, it's no smoking. Well, I understand it's no smoking. But somebody doesn't understand that it's no smoking.
That's right.
There were people right beside the one room.
Yeah.
And you could see clearly that they were standing outside of their place having smoke. So we said, can you move us? No, we can't move you. Strike one.
Oh, no.
Strike two. Once Sloan gets there, we thought, okay, well, maybe we'll have some dinner or something in the restaurant. Restaurant's closed. So here we are in the middle of nowhere. Like we're not in Bayfield, we're not in Godrich. We're between the two. So now we've got to go we have to forage for food. So
eating cigarette butts and like
but this place, okay, let me just give you a visual. I have pictures of this. We will post these.
Okay.
This place, my room ended up being facing the highway 21.
Okay.
Mom and Sloan had rooms side by side that faced the back of the hotel, which was the parking lot.
Right.
Directly, right, pushed up against the parking lot was a giant forest.
Okay.
Or serial killer woods, like I like to call them that day.
Got a nice warm fuzzy feeling to them, eh?
Oh my God. So like you look out the one way and it's just this creepy highway. You look out the other window and it's forest on the other side of the parking lot. There are no deadbolts on our doors.
Oh, that's concerning.
Yeah, totally.
Interesting.
So I could open the door to the front. I could open the door to the highway or to the hallway. So I had two doors, right?
Right.
Neither one of them had a deadbolt. Mom and Sloan could open the door to the parking lot / forest, no deadbolt, or to the hallway. So, I mean, thankfully we had two ways to get out, but the murderers also had two ways to get in. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no phone in the hotel room or the motel room.
Oh, is that allowed?
I'm like, I have seen this episode of Criminal Minds before, right? So there is no phone. There is there's a hallway and then it splits off into two.
Okay.
So it's like they said there's a courtesy phone at like the part where like the crotch of the hallways. Okay.
Okay. You're really painting a picture here.
Right. Oh, listen, I was not having a good time here at all.
Mm-hmm.
So the place stinks. We're gonna get murdered. Time comes where it's time to, okay, we're gonna go to bed now or whatever. The employee leaves at 8 o'clock.
Oh. So there's nobody after 8 o'clock.
Nobody after 8 o'clock looking after this damn place.
No.
So who the hell are we gonna call if we get down to the crotch of the hotel and in an emergency? There's nobody at the desk.
Norman Bates is around somewhere, I'm sure.
Oh my God. So I'm across the hall facing the street, and Mom and Sloan are facing the parking lot.
Yeah.
There is a massive party with all these men yelling and screaming in the parking lot that night.
Nice.
No one to call, no deadbolt on the door, and it's right outside their door till like 4 a.m.
Lovely.
Oh.
So
I'll take the fire alarm. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh my God, the two of them.
Exactly. Yeah.
I finally fell asleep, and I'm on my side, facing the highway. I'm thinking there was a time, like this was around the time there was a guy who was loose in that area. He was like an axe guy.
Of course there was.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh great, I'm gonna the highway. Here we go. I'm gonna be the first to go. Little did I know that the two of them, Mom and Sloan, had actually gotten together in my mom's room and were huddled together on the bed with the door to the parking lot, like a chair and everything, all the furniture pushed against the door.
Oh my God.
Rogue partiers could not, breach the perimeter should they need to.
Yeah, they had to barricade themselves in.
Yes.
Wow.
And so we still had one more night to go. And we got up the next morning. We're like, nope, we're going to forfeit. They wouldn't give me my money back.
No.
Wow.
Would not give back the money. I was really mad about that. I'm like, none of this is what we paid for. We did not go on like the serial killer tour,
Not this time.
But we got it. We sure got it. So we spent the day at the beach, which was lovely.
Right.
And then we're like, well, we're not going to check out just yet. We're going to spend as much time as we can at the beach, check out later. And then I wrote a little review, and the people responded to my review by saying, first of all, you don't need deadbolts on your doors here. This is a safe place. And I'm like, listen here, lad. just for shits and giggles. How about you put it on there anyway? Put the deadbolt on the door. And if you're right and I feel safe, maybe I won't latch it.
So be it. Yeah.
But put it on the damn door.
Well, God forbid you need one for some reason.
Right?
Yeah.
Here you are pushing chairs in front of the door.
No phone, rogue partiers, no employee, smells like cigarettes.
Haunted scary woods.
Haunted scary woods where I don't know, maybe that was where Pet Sematary was filmed. I don't know. I don't know. So it was horrible. So we forfeited the rest of the money and we're like, well, we're not staying here a second night. So we went back to my mom's house and we ordered pizza and watched My Girl. Yeah. And crashed at my mom's house. And yeah.
You know, Mike, when you said you wanted to talk about hotel experiences, I had about like half a dozen different things come to mind, but at this point in time, I give up.
You forfeit?
I cannot top.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah, chicken dinner right there. Yeah, I can't top any of that.
I've never ever experienced anything like this in my life. And the apathy of the owners afterwards.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So I will tell anybody who asks me what place it is.
Right.
And don't go there.
And don't go there. Yeah,
do not go there unless you want to die.
Yike.
Or bring your own deadbolt.
Bring your own deadbolt. Jesus. Man, I was mad. Now I'm getting all fired up now.
How about you, Mike? Have you ever had to bring your own deadbolt?
Well, there was a hotel. This was in Niagara Falls as well. Kevin and I will often do, what is it? Oh, it's like hotels.com or something like that, where you pay for the stars. So like if you want a 3-star hotel, you pay, $100, 4 stars, 140. And so you pay for that and you don't actually know where you're staying. You pick your area.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you pick how classy you want it.
Yeah, I've seen those.
And 9 times out of 10, we've gotten really nice places and often boutique places that I probably wouldn't have even found if I looked for it.
Yeah.
Has almost always worked out for us. This one time in Niagara Falls, we thought we would do that. And we got, I think it was the Travel Lodge, but it was like down the river a little bit more, right? Like past the falls and like still like downstream a little bit further.
Yeah.
And it was a sidewalk away. Our window was we were on the ground floor.
Yeah.
And it was a sidewalk away from the street. We were so afraid that a car was going to come careening through the wall at some point.
Yeah.
So then I'm there looking out this window and I'm like, this is kind of sketchy. And somebody walks right by because it's like tourist season. So there's lots of people going by and the window doesn't lock and there's no screen on it either. So we're like,
oh my God,
100%. Somebody's crawling in the room with us tonight. So we did similar things where we move things around. So should somebody have snuck in, it was a bit of a Christmas tree ornaments under the window, a la Home Alone vibe. Of like somebody comes in, we're hearing them. It was like pop cans and stuff, I think, that we put under the window to camouflage a little bit so we can hear somebody enter. So that was probably one of our more sketchy experiences.
Yeah.
And it was not even a nice walk. It was like a far walk to down the road to get to the action too.
Yeah.
Oh well. Yeah. Now one time we did do this hotels.com thing while we were in Toronto, and we got this hotel. I can't remember the name of it. I think it was like King Street West, and it was really nice. It was a really nice hotel.
Yeah.
Again, like a boutique one, right? And we were just there for an evening. We woke up in the morning, we're like packing our stuff up and all that stuff. And it's the morning and I had coffee. And as people do, they often need to use the washroom after having a hearty cup of joe in the morning. So I was like,
a fact? Does that happen?
I'm trying to be as descriptive and non-graphic
polite
as possible. Yeah. I used the bathroom. Oh. And then we're like, so, okay, flush, nothing. Flush, nothing. And I'm like, we need to check out in like 5 minutes. And this poor person that needs to come clean this room, this isn't polite of us at all. So I'm like, great. I broke the toilet. So we get our stuff. We start going downstairs and I'm like, I'll just make sure to tell the person at the front desk, I am so sorry the toilet broke. We will Here's an extra tip for the trouble and stuff like that. Because nobody wants to have to deal with that. We are waiting. There's a person in line being helped by the person at the desk, right? And we're kind of like next in line. And as Kevin and I are standing there, and I'm like going through the speech in my head of how I tell her, this is how my morning's gone. Water starts dripping out of the light sock or out of the light fixture right next to her. And I'm like,
Uh-oh.
did I I was picturing the toilet overflowing upstairs, and it's now dripping out of the ceiling, and nobody notices it. She's there talking to them, and it's like doop doop right next to her. Nobody's acknowledging that this is
time to
happening.
go, time to leave.
So then I'm like, oh my god, do I like butt in line and like tell her what's going on? And then now this person has to hear my experience too. And then so they start wrapping up, right? And then we step up, and then the phone rings, and she's like, oh, just one moment. I'm like, I gotta tell you what's happening. So she answers it. And it's housekeeping, and they're upstairs, and a toilet is overflowing, and she's like, oh my god, who would do such a thing? Like, okay, well, that's good to, oh my god, there's water dripping here, oh no, it's happening down here. So she starts seeing all these things that's going on, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm the guy. So she gets off the phone, and I say, listen, I came down to tell you what had happened. And so I explained the story to her, and then so she's embarrassed because she said all this stuff right in front of me. And she's like, wait, what room were you? And I tell her our room number. And she's like, no, he's talking about a room on like the other end of the hotel. It wasn't mine that he was making the call about. It was not mine. Our hotel or our room was further down the hotel. The one that had the problem was above us. So it was a separate issue. Right. But the things that ran through my head and the explanations I was going to have to give, Mike, I was stressed.
Why don't we flash back right to episode 2? You need to start carrying with you a poop knife.
Yeah. If only we had recorded these episodes sooner. I would have known.
Yes, that would have saved you a whole lot of trouble right there.
The magic powers of the poop knife.
Poop knife.
Oh my God.
I bet hotels have a poop knife. I bet it's right there in their kit of room cleaning supplies.
Oh,
probably. Right into the ditch again. We're gonna drive it there. This gal's gonna do it.
I was shooting video as sort of a sideline for a while. I still do shoot video, as you guys know, because
we know
a lot of you. Anyway, I got booked by a guy to come and shoot an Elvis concert. This was many years ago, and it was through a connection with the band that I was playing with at the time, and we were doing Elvis. And so I got booked to do this, and it was in Niagara Falls. And a buddy of mine decided he was going to come with me and help me out. It's my second pair of hands, anyway, shooting this video for this Elvis thing. And we should have really known, because everything about the guy who was organizing it and whatnot seemed sketchy. And the agreement for the work included hotel rooms for a couple of nights, actually,
right,
while we were down doing this conference and concert and et cetera, et cetera. And when we get to Niagara Falls, and we figure, okay, hotels in Niagara Falls, right? It's a tourist town,
right?
It doesn't have to be the Hilton,
no,
but there is so many hotels and whatnot in Niagara Falls. What could go wrong?
Famous last words.
Famous last words. You got that right. You got that. What could go wrong? That's right. Anyway, sure enough, we get there, and he has booked. There's a sleazy side of Niagara Falls that the tourist people don't see.
Yep.
This was next to that. This was downstream from that.
That's fun.
Actually, this hotel that he booked and put us in, and it was, oh my gosh, it was so bad. Anyway, we go into this hotel room, and there's like, if I remember correctly, is double beds, but neither of us could bring ourselves to pull back the sheets and actually get into the bed. No. And it had 1960s orange shag carpet, like about 1.5 inches deep. And it had 40-year plus worth of gunge on it.
Ugh.
You could almost feel it as you walked across the carpet. This carpet just doesn't really feel.
You're almost skating across it.
Oh yeah. So
how
the two of us,
much blood, urine, and
oh
semen
my gosh,
were you stepping on?
It was really bad. And then it had this little tiny, like it was really a roach motel, but a little tiny little bathroom where you couldn't, like when you tried to open the door, like you walked up to the bathroom and you opened the door and the door went halfway, it went clunk because it's hit the toilet
right
behind the door.
Suck yourself in through.
Now you to get in the bathroom, the door's only open halfway, and you kind of slide yourself in there and then close the door so that because the toilet's around behind the door kind of. It was just it was really, really bad. So anyway, the two of us, we slept fully dressed on top of the bed without pulling down the comforter or anything, getting in it. Not at all. We weren't even going to get undressed. Yeah, it was, that's probably one of the worst, roach motel things I've been in.
That's gross.
It was very, it was, yeah, you try to forget it, but it was very gross. Yeah, it was.
Oh, man.
But
I believe I shared this story when we had Liz on our episode. We were chatting about New York, but I'll reshare it really quick.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
I remember.
Okay, a friend of mine had a really great deal on a hotel room in New York, and I'm like, great. It was like $80 each for 2 nights. And I'm like, wow, that's a bargain. We're there for 2 nights. We don't care. We know we're slumming it. We're not spending much time in the hotels. It's a quick turnaround holiday. And so that we're on our way there, and I'm like, where is this? And she's like, oh, it's like in Times Square. And I'm like, wait a minute. There's no way we're staying in Times Square for altogether $160.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
And this hotel was scary. Walking up the stairs, we had to walk up like 4 flights of stairs to get to our room. And there was like, there's people I believe that live there like long term with their doors open, and there's like kids crying and like, oh, it was unsettling. We finally get up to our room. There's a window. I always go straight for the windows. I want to see what I'm seeing out here. And it's always good to have a plan B emergency evacuation just in case. I look out. It is literally a brick wall. There's like 6 inches between the window and the brick wall, letting in all this sunlight. The shower, the bathroom was tiny. We knew we wanted to go get slippers, and we went to Walgreens because same thing. We did not want to walk on the floors.
No.
So we got some cheap like flip-flops. We ended up needing those flip-flops for the shower because the shower was really dirty. And then we're sleeping in bed. We're trying to go to sleep, and we're trying not to like listen to the cries in the hallway and stuff like that. And you know, when you're like having a sleepover, you do the giggles and you're having a good time. And then finally there's that like just moment of lull where you're like, okay, I think we're actually going to bed now. So we're like, so the conversation giggles are done and we're starting to fade off. And we're probably like a minute of silence and relaxation in. And then suddenly the whole bed falls to the floor. The legs break out from underneath of it. Her and I are sharing this bed. We're both screaming. We thought somebody's breaking into the room. It scared us so much. The bed broke underneath of us, and that will forever be in my mind as something that I don't want to experience again.
Yeah.
So many jokes. So many jokes.
I heard you guys know who Jeff Foxworthy is? The comedian. Okay. I heard him tell a story recently about a hotel room. And of course, his stories are hysterical to start with. But I laughed all the more because this actually happened. It didn't happen to me, but it happened to a guy I was traveling with. So, and it was just comical that it was such a similar story. So anyway, the story goes that because he would wake up and get very disoriented in the middle of the night, and 9 times out of 10, if you wake up in the middle of the night, you're headed for the bathroom.
Right.
Okay, and it's pitch dark, right? So he was in the habit of turning on the bathroom light but closing the door, and there's enough gap underneath the bathroom It's kind of like a nightlight.
Right.
And then when you get up and disoriented in the middle of the night, it's kind of like it's right there.
The guiding light.
Guiding light. I'm headed to the bathroom. And if you've, like we used to travel a lot when we were teaching, and we'd be on the road for quite a bit. And every night the bathroom's in a different place because you're in a different hotel room and this, etc. So anyway, so he got in the habit of doing this. Well, the one night he forgot to turn the light on in the bathroom.
Right.
However, at 3:00 in the morning or 3:30 in the morning, nature calls, and he gets up, and in his disoriented state, he sees the light under the door and heads for it. And he opens the door and he steps in, which is actually now out into the hallway. Yeah.
Oh no.
So here he is. And without thinking, of course, the room doors are spring loaded, right? So without thinking, he steps out into the hallway. He's half asleep. The door closes behind him, and he's now standing in the hallway in his skivvies at 3:30 in the morning or whatever it was, Sorry. Anyway, it was funny because
what are skivvies? Does that mean he was
skivvies?
Well, did he have a little something on, or was he like?
No, skivvies are that's your very old school terminology for your shorts.
Okay, so he's in his gitch.
Yeah, I thought it was just like gotchies. Yeah,
tighty whities, if you will, or whatever your particular.
Okay, well, we know everything we need to know about Rob now, don't we?
Well, whatever. Okay. Whatever.
Thanks, Rob.
Now, no, just thought I'd share that. Anyway,
you gotta share. Share what you know.
Yeah,
I have not experienced yet any hauntings or paranormal things. I was just
going to say something about that.
Have you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you do, Laurie? What happened to you?
When I turned 40, a couple of gals booked a trip, little girls' trip to the Old Angel Inn in Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Okay.
And we had the governor's room.
Ooh.
And there is a ton of activity in this hotel. Well, I guess, is it a hotel? It's not really, well, it kind of is. There's like 4 rooms, I think. But it's one of the oldest in Canada, I think, this hotel. It had once burned and then had been rebuilt on the foundation where it had burnt.
Right.
If I understand that correctly. And you can actually see some of the charred beams from the fire.
Cool.
Captain Swayze was a British soldier.
Okay.
This was during 1812. Okay. British dude.
Right.
He wanted to, like, he stayed there, and I know I can hear your dog. It sounds like my stomach growling. I had to think, oh no, that's Prudence.
I'm trying to verbally nudge her.
It's not my stomach. It's the dog having a snoring fest. Anyway, so Captain Swayze, there was some woman he loved there, and he went back and he shouldn't have, and the Americans surrounded him there, and he went down to the basement and he hid in a wine barrel.
Oh.
And so the soldiers knew there's only one way, like he went down, so that's pretty much it. Like he's down there somewhere. And they took their big bayonets and they started just piercing the barrels.
Okay.
Until wine, until one also ran out with some blood. So Captain Swayze died here in the basement of that Old Angel Inn. Oh. And there is tons of reports of Captain Swayze sightings or things happening, right? So we're up in the governor's room. There's 4 of us, two to a bed. So it's kind of like a separate room, but not a fully separate room, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it's a room, there's the bathroom in the middle, and then another room that we could see, but anyway, not secluded.
I hear you.
The bathroom, oh my God, it was like a stand-up coffin. That's what it was, so small. And the shower, you had to kind of stand in there and just hope that parts of you were getting hit by water. It was so tiny. That was not my favorite part of that. But anyway, it was old school in there. Like we're talking like Victorian type design and everything in this place. And it just, I have some pictures of that too that I'll post.
Oh yeah.
But so middle of the night, I'm having a hard time getting to sleep because I'm freaked out. but I'm in it. I'm ready for this. This was the purpose of the trip, right? So about 5 o'clock in the morning, I wake up and I'm hearing, the sound of like when you push a wooden chair across a wooden floor.
Uh-huh.
That scraping noise across the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's out in the hallway. And I'm thinking,
Oh.
who the hell is moving furniture in this hallway at 5 o'clock in the damn morning? So I'm just lying there waiting for it to stop, and eventually it did. And so when we got ready to go out that day and explore town, I asked at the desk, I'm like, tell me, what was somebody doing at like 5 o'clock this morning, right outside my door, pushing furniture around? And she kind of gave me a little bit of a smirk. She said, well, let me just check the logbook for maintenance.
Oh.
Opens it up. She goes, no, there was nothing happening outside your door, but have a look at this. And it was like a placemat that they had that had all the different types of activity that's been noted in that hotel.
Yeah.
And one of the things was furniture moving around in the middle of the night.
Oh, no, thank you.
Like, what the hell? Yeah. So then we went to what was the fort? Was it Fort George?
I think Fort George is in St. Catharines, Niagara area,
yes,
isn't it?
Yes, it is. Fort George.
That's a known haunted location, right?
Whichever one was in Niagara on the Lake, we went there.
That's Niagara on the Lake, Fort George.
Okay. Yeah. So we went there and we toured inside there as well. And I asked all the different people who worked there, have you ever experienced anything? And they all had stories. So that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. But having that thing at night, I just didn't want to be touched in the middle of the night.
Uh-huh.
Not by a ghost anyway. But there was also a party happening downstairs there too. It was a pub underneath and the rooms were upstairs. Right. Yeah, it's a really cool place.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds really cool.
What?
It's your poor dog.
Oh, she's just
sounds like
snoring.
She's dreaming. Is she dreaming? Oh, she got the little legs going.
She's just zonked right out.
Aww.
Poor girl. She's on a lot of painkillers. I'd probably be snoring just as loud as well too.
You'll have to post a picture of her for everybody.
Oh, okay, we can do that. I keep muting and like slapping my thigh to try to like wake her up a little bit, but to no avail quite yet. Right. Yeah. Well, I have one final really quick ghost related story. Well, two kind of. It wasn't a hotel, but I spent the night at my brother's house once, and he lives in Norwich in a what I believe to be kind of a creepy-ish old house. Never really got a weird vibe from it, but the one night I was spending, I had a really tough time sleeping. I kept waking up, but at one point I was starting to get the heebie-jeebies, and then at one point I woke up to what felt like somebody flicking the tip of my nose, and that freaked me right out.
I guess.
But my this actually happened to my mom. She was in Las Vegas with a group of girlfriends, and they were staying at Caesar's Palace. I think it's Caesar's Palace. And there's a much longer story to this, but this part always kind of weirded me out. They were in a room that they kept separately. They were noticing and hearing things. Speaking of which, hold on a second. I'm muting for 2 seconds.
You know what? Now Mike understands what it's like.
Dear Lord, with Meatloaf always making a noise. Poor girl. I feel bad, but like, come on already. So, anyways, they're staying in this hotel that they're all kind of separately feeling and noticing things. But the one night my mom had woke up, she was sleeping on her stomach, right? And when you sleep on your stomach, the bottom of your feet are facing up at the foot of the bed. And she had felt what seemed like somebody sitting on the bottom of her feet. Like it was almost like the weight of somebody's, bum sitting on. That would freak me right out. I'm like, oh yeah, no, thank you. But then I think they looked it up or they asked somebody, and there was, it was kind of known to be a room that things happened. I think bad things happened once upon a time there.
Okay. An O for C trip to the Stanley Hotel.
Where's the Stanley Hotel?
Is
that the one in Paris?
No, that's the one. Is that Colorado? It's the one that the Overlook Hotel was based on from.
Oh, Yosemite, I think it's in. I think that's in Yosemite, isn't it?
I don't know. Well, wherever it is, we got to go. That's where The Shining was based on the Stanley Hotel, I believe.
What I missed the oversea trip thing. What was that?
The Oversight Hotel?
No,
is that what's called?
O4C, out for coffee.
Oh, for C.
O4C trip.
I thought she said overseas trip.
No.
Like I'm thinking, that's why I thought that was why Mike said Paris. Like we're going overseas.
Okay. Stanley.
Come on, boys, keep up.
We're done here. I think we're getting a little nutty.
I think we better pull the plug, guys.
Because I'm overheating. It's too hot.
It's too hot in there, Laurie.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Go eat an ice cream sandwich and relax.
Yeah.
We had a quick little chat before we came on here. Laurie tried to make ice cream sandwiches from scratch from home today, and it didn't go well at all.
No, it did not go well at all. Now I got like all this damn ice cream and cookie crap all over my freezer, and
Go clean it up.
Okay.
Well, thank you both for some great conversation. I had a nice chat with you today. It's been lovely.
It's good to catch up.
Thank you for your time, and thank you to our audience for joining us on yet another episode. And we will see you next time on Out for Coffee
with Mike and Laurie and Rob
and Snoring Prudence.
Snoring Prudence.
Bye, folks.
Do you have questions, comments, or ideas for a future show? Reach out to Mike and Laurie on their social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or email us at mikeandlauriesocials@gmail.com.